Today's episode of The Mom Game is brought to you by our friends at Gateway Buick GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway because their slogan is Gateway's Got It. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new Buicks, GMCs, and GM-certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. In these busy times, you want a car dealer who makes things easy and convenient. Well, guess what? Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaybuickgmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule your delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway Buick GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. I can attest to this. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaybuickgmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. Experience the new Buick.
Hello, everybody. We are back for another edition of The Mom Game. I am Julie Dobbs. Next to me, I have Emily Jones,
Hello.
My wonderful, beautiful co-host. It was fun with Julia Morales last week.
So
we talked a little bit about the baseball season, which you are now well underway with.
my
Our
gosh.
scheduling for the show has been fun.
So fun.
But you're here, and it's so good to see you and to catch up a little bit. First of all, how's baseball?
So it's peaks and valleys. Started out okay. They went through a pretty decent valley, and now we're starting maybe to come out of the valley.
Two wins in a row?
With the two wins in a row. Game. Tonight is game number 14. So
Okay.
we've played 12, 5 and 7, 2 straight. Young team. So you really just can't. I enjoy watching them though. I enjoy watching to see who's gonna break out, who's gonna establish themselves. So for me, it's early. I mean, talk to me in September and see what I say. But
Yeah.
it's still honeymoony phase for me as far as the season being back, fans being in the stands, all those things have just been. I mean, it makes my schedule and my life crazy as shit. But
but it's fun.
But I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Was it great to have a full
Oh my gosh.
stadium on
was
opening day?
so
And I mean,
amazing.
I've seen big crowds there even since that.
it's
It was
been amazing.
I almost got teary-eyed on opening day. Just
I did. So then
Yeah.
everybody's singing the national anthem and I'm like choking up a little bit. I just am so happy for them to be back there after doing so many games in that ballpark, totally
That's
emptying.
weird.
It was just like, ugh. And I mean, we still do the away games from an empty ballpark, but it's like at least there on the road. Like it was almost even weirder to cover a home game with 0 people in the stands.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's all still so strange, but to have fans back in the stands and so many of them, and I know there's political leaning to whatever. I don't give a shit about those. I don't care. I mean, whatever. I don't call the shots, but I enjoyed I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I've loved having them in the stands every game since. And I haven't checked the COVID numbers, but I haven't heard of any massive outbreaks.
Nope. And even after the mask mandate was lifted, the numbers were still down and everything like that. And we're both doubly vaccinated now, plus the 2 weeks that it takes to kick in, right?
Yeah.
We're both like, here we are. We have our vaccine superpowers.
We do. And it was funny. Okay, so we had trouble scheduling the show this week. I got a call. I was on my way to Dallas to shoot yesterday. Get a call from the school. Hattie's got a temperature. And I turn around, go get her. Out of an abundance of caution, I notify, the Rangers and the people at Bally Sports, like, hey, just so you know, I know everything's. So then I have to talk to someone from Bally Sports medical team. And then he gives me this like questions. And then he's like, okay, well, I understand you're fully vaccinated. It has been 2 weeks since your second vaccination. I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, then you don't need to quarantine. And I was like, listen, mofo, my ass wasn't quarantining anyway. Like,
No, I'm not
you can
worried about that, but do I need to get dressed right now to go to work?
You can keep me away from work all you want. I'm not quarantined because my kid has a 99.7 fever. I'm sorry.
Those days are over, homeboy.
That is insane. Like, again, you can keep me away from work, but my ass is not quarantining because my daughter has a 99.7 degree fever.
It's not even that she has COVID. She's just got a fever. Like, remember before COVID when kids got sick?
Yes.
All the damn time?
Yeah.
And they still get sick.
So anyway, I'm just, and we're slowly getting back to quotation marks normal.
Yeah.
But it's just like you still see hear things and see things like that. And same way like at the ballpark, like God love them. I know they've got protocols in place. So we got 36,000, 38,000 in there opening day, right?
Yeah.
Then I show up to do a road broadcast where there's approximately, I'm going to come in contact with 10 people, maybe.
And they're all freaking out.
I got to fill out a COVID form, questionnaire, and get my temperature taken. And I'm like,
you're like, I was just around 40,000.
Wait, what are we doing here?
So we're in the gray area.
Oh my God.
People are so confused and people don't know what they should be doing. And the damn restaurants still don't have salt on the table. And the QR codes can go to hell.
Yes.
At the restaurants. I'm sorry.
I want a menu.
I'm on my phone enough. We went last night to dinner. I was like, my phone's dead because I've been on it because I had 2 different things yesterday where I had to sit in waiting rooms. And the only thing you can do in a waiting room is cruise on your phone.
Right.
So then you go to dinner and it's like, there were like some elderly-ish people next to us and they're like, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't have a phone.
You want a QR code?
And the lady even said, she was like, well, it's just easier for us right now because we're short-staffed. It's like, okay, well, there you go. That's the reason why. But people are going to hold on to that.
Oh, yeah. It's like when we went to San Antonio for spring break and they're like, due to COVID, we can't have housekeeping. And I'm like,
what?
This.
You're like, I'm in a hotel room. That's why I came here.
Counterintuitive, right? Like,
don't you want it to be clean?
Keep things clean.
And that's the other thing. All the surface shit was like the CDC, all the stuff everyone was freaking out about. The CDC came out with the findings that like none of that mattered.
I know.
All the gloves and like
everybody's just playing
opening doorknobs, like finding mittens so you can like open a door and spraying down your groceries. I'm not saying like the whole time I knew, no one knew.
No.
So it's hard. It's like I'm not making fun of people who did all of that because that's all we knew. That's all you knew. And you're trying to take all the precautions you think you need.
But you're so right. We are in such a gray area.
It's an awkward gray area.
So gray. Look no further than the ballpark. I mean,
yes,
38,000 one day, no temperatures, no nothing. Next day, 10 people, temperatures, COVID questionnaire. I'm like, but I get it. They have to see I have to cover their ass. I'm
just wondering, it's going to be weird because like, when will you be out of the gray area? Like nothing's going to happen to where it's like, all right, let's leave the masks. Let's go on with it. Let's fill everything because that's always going to be there a little bit. Just like the flu's always there, right? Like, people can still get the flu, but we don't wear masks all the time. But it does, broadly speaking, it feels like things are getting better.
Yeah.
Thank God, our government has done a good job getting out vaccinations and a lot of people are getting them. My family in Canada still can't get theirs. So we still can't even go visit them. Yeah. Anyways, so COVID world is getting better. The reason I was in waiting rooms all day yesterday is because I have a big surgery coming up. I know we've talked about hysterectomies and how we promised the listeners that we would have hysterectomy talk someday. And I'm sure they've been waiting.
It's your lucky day.
They've been anticipating hysterectomy talk. But I do feel like I'm in a safe place here.
You are?
Because you have had one and because you are a female. The other place that I work, I don't know how this is even going to go because they're like, wait, you're going to be gone. Yes, I'm not going to be at work for up to 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks, starting next Tuesday. And we haven't talked about it yet on the air. We probably will like Monday. But yeah, it's like they all get so weird. If what are you doing? I'm like, they hear the word ovary and they're like, okay, we'll see you in 3 weeks.
I know.
It's just going to be weird. So I feel like here I can talk about it freely. But yes, for anybody who might be a new listener, I had breast cancer. We actually just hit the 7-year mark post-cancer. It was April 7th, 7 years cancer-free. And so I had the double mastectomy at that point, and now everything has been fine, but I did have the BRCA1 gene, a genetic mutation, which we found out is pretty much why I got the cancer. My mom also has it. I got it from her. She never knew that she had it. She's never had cancer. We're monitoring her very closely. She had a hysterectomy a while ago, so it's just the breast that I guess cancer that she would be worried about. But the other thing that the BRCA1 mutation does, besides giving me high risk for breast cancer, is a high risk for ovarian cancer. And I think it's like 40% especially it gets amped up once you hit age 35. So I'm 35 now, done having kids, I guess. I mean, I was done anyway, but it's a weird feeling to not have the possibility of an accident or an oops baby or we're we're feeling like we got a lot of time and money. Let's just have that third. None of that's going to happen. I don't think it would, but you just never know.
I know. Right.
You have the friend that had like a late baby.
I do. God love her. Like,
yeah.
Her kids are like each a year older than my kids. Yeah. And it's like, so 8 and 10. And it's like, surprise.
Well, when you hear about that,
like,
and then they're scared shitless, but then they're like, well, this is how God wanted it. So I'm like, well, fuck, God doesn't want me to have it. I know. I have to do it, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a no-brainer for me. It's like if I can eliminate 40% risk of ovarian cancer, which is hard to A, diagnose and monitor, and B, it's hard to cure once you do get it. It's almost like
you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing.
So that's coming up on Tuesday. So was yours okay? I mean, you said it wasn't that bad. And it's funny, the more I talk about it, a lot of women have had them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I've always had female issues, like from the time I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, this is way too much information for people, but I remember going to the gynecologist, and when I would get my yearly exam, he talked into a tape recorder. And he would so for his notes.
Like because you were so interesting?
No, definitely not.
He wanted to remember all the, okay.
Yes. And so he said this so many times that it's burned in my mind. He would say that I had atypical squamous cells of undetermined significance. Like that's how much I know. I haven't seen this man in 25 years. That's what he would say over and over and over and over. So basically it was just like something was always off there.
Yeah.
So then I had endometriosis, and then, I went through IVF with kids, like, all this stuff. And I was always, everything was painful and all that kind of stuff. And so my OB-GYN, after I was done having kids, first of all, I got my fallopian tubes removed when I had Hattie. So she's like, 10% of cervical cancer starts in the fallopian tubes. If you don't want your tubes, if you don't want to have your baby, we're just going to take them out. It just decreases your chance.
Don't you love how doctors say, we'll just go. We're just take out your uterus.
And I'm like, sweet, just take them. And she's like, I remember being cut open, and she's like, are you sure you don't want? I'm like, take them. You can have the fallopian tubes.
And that's how you knew you were done.
Oh, I knew.
Yeah.
Well, listen, but I was so old when I had kids. I mean, I was 34, 36, not so old, but I mean, I was older, and we were 2 and done, and I'm not emotionally capable of having 3 children. Like, it's not there. So anyway, she took my fallopian tubes. I kept having issues after the kids, and she was like, every woman deserves to be somewhat in her prime post hysterectomy. Like, really? She's like, yeah, you should. I mean, it's a great thing. And I'm like, well, sign me up. Let's do it. It'll get rid of the pain. It'll all that kind of stuff. So what she did was she went in, and they go in laser, and they took out everything laparoscopic, and she took out everything except for one ovary. The other one was like totally ravaged with endometriosis or whatever. Oh. So she took out everything, whatever, all the other girl stuff. She took it all out and then left one ovary. So you didn't go into like full menopause because she left the one ovary. Yes. But I will say I have like night sweats. I don't know if I'm going through menopause. This is such a great
need to have menopause.
night sweats. So then now she's put me on testosterone. So now I'm taking testosterone, like drop like pills or the things that you put under your tongue and they dissolve.
Did you ever take hormones?
I was on birth control pills, not for birth control, but for
the hormones.
So testosterone, it'll take a while to see if it kicks in, if it helps with the night sweats. So fucking old. So yeah,
that could be me.
But I will say, so I've got the only thing that bothers me. So I have a scar above, and they're so small. So it's like a little scar above my belly button, like almost right above my belly button. One on either side of my belly button, and then one right here, like under my right boob.
Yeah.
And there's not one under my left boob.
Oh my God, does that drive you insane?
It makes me fucking crazy.
You can't even have the fruit in your fridge not match.
I know. And now I've got scars. And do we
need to like get a tattoo?
And this is the only one that's really noticeable. And so I tell people, are like, what happened right there? And I'm like, oh, I was shooting a rap video, and there was a drive-by. I want to think of something cool because they look like little gunshot wounds.
Like shooting a rat video. That's a good one.
Yeah. So they look like little gunshot wounds. And
really?
So I mean, no one ever believes this story, but what's that?
I don't know what a gunshot.
And I'm like, I was, shooting a rap video, and there was a drive-by.
Oh my God. I love that you have uneven scars. I'm sorry.
I do.
I don't love it, but I do.
I know.
Of all people.
So the other two, that's really the only noticeable one.
Yeah.
So that's why I just default to the rap video drive by.
There you go. And it's funny, like of all the shit I've done, I'm like, scars are the least of my worries. You know, like what does it matter? What does any of it matter anyways? Yeah. In the end.
Well, I think you'll do great. I only stayed one night in the hospital.
I think that's my plan.
One night in the hospital, but it's actually kind of brilliant because there's like people waiting on you.
I know.
Bringing you stuff.
I know. Isn't it sad? There's two things that are sad. One is that girls have all this shit in us that can give us cancer or make us in pain or not able to have kids. And guys don't have any of that.
No.
They get snipped. And that's just like a cute little surgery.
Oh my gosh. I got to lay on a couch with a bag of frozen peas on my junk.
And then talk all about it like it, like they just came out of World War II or something. That's all that they have to do. We have so much shit to deal with.
Lay on the couch with a bag of
Not to mention these childbirths we had, you know? But like all the things that help you create life also can have all these problems. So I guess it's all worth it.
Yeah.
We love our kids. Yeah. Yay.
Obviously.
Yes, obviously. And then the other thing, I forget what the other thing was bullshit about. I said two things were bullshit about being a woman. That was one of them. And the other one, I don't know. It'll come back to me another time.
Periods? I don't know.
My periods will be gone.
Periods are gone.
So that'll be cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass trying to like schedule all the kid shit, that I won't be able to do. So it's like, so-and-so can pick you up here and you do it a lot probably when you used to travel. Yeah. But like the stuff that you don't realize all the stuff moms are responsible for until you're unable to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I need you to whip me up one of your spreadsheets or something.
But get all that squared away and then enjoy that night of drug-induced peace at the hospital.
Yes.
With people bringing you Jell-O or whatever it is. That's the other thing that's
bullshit. That's the other thing that's bullshit is that we get excited about surgery because you get a break from life.
I remember our sweet friend Dana Larson. Yes. Dana and I would be talking sometimes and be like, what if we just got like just a small car accident? Just to where, like, nothing serious.
You guys could crash each other.
We'd be like, no one gets hurt. But you just need to be in bed for a few days. You're not sick. Like I said, no one gets hurt, but just a small car accident. And it's just 2 or 3 days where you just really need to rest.
So desperate. We're so desperate.
That's what we would say. Maybe just a little car accident.
I love Dana. That's amazing. God,
it's hilarious.
And that was like when I had COVID and I had to isolate from my family. That's kind of what I was like, well, this sucks, but I'm just going to lay here and watch TV and like let the madness ensue outside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all on the horizon, but we will continue to shoot the mom game.
Yes, we will. We're going to figure out our logistics. It'll be a crazy few weeks. One thing I did want to tell you. So I got a photo facial today.
Oh, yes. You are all into the stuff.
I am. So I have a new little partner in Fort Worth that I've been working with, Anderson Plastic Surgery and Med Spa, and they're great. And so I did the photo facial day. And the best thing about them is they give you laughing gas for photo facials.
Do you think it's worn off all the way or is it still there?
No. Oh, no. That wears off pretty quick.
Do you think that doctors can get laughing gas to bring to their friends?
If I had access to laughing gas, it would be, I would have.
You wouldn't have to drink.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Yes. Like, why? Surely this is not good. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking
like how do I get my hands on
is
some
there
of
a market for this? It has to be illegal.
I mean, well, I'm sure it's illegal for the doctors to give them to people, unlicensed people.
But it's just like this tube, and you're just like, she's like, "Are you in your happy place yet?" I'm like, "Yeah," And I'm like, this is such a novel idea. You feel so good, and there's no hangover.
Hypothetically, if you had done gummies, would it be like that?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because that's why those are so fun, hypothetically. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No. There's some similarities there.
Yeah.
But the laughing gas is you're in and within 5 minutes you're
that's weird.
You're out of the cloud. No, it's not.
Keep me in the cloud.
But with gummies, that's a little lingers.
And I feel
more.
like we're borderline saying like drugs are cool.
That's
because it is. But that's why people do drugs. They want that feeling.
Right.
Emily.
Okay.
I've never done hardcore drugs.
No, me either.
But I bet that's why people do it. We're just like having an epiphany. They want that feeling.
Right. But so somebody is really going to come after me on this laughing gas thing because it's probably
not
like
here, not on the
no.
Mom
But I'm
Game.
just saying they're probably going to be like, you fucking idiot. Yes, it's illegal, and people.
No, on the Mom Game, people don't say that to us. On the ticket, people are mean, but Mom Game listeners are nice.
Well, maybe someone can enlighten me because it's clearly I'm very.
So, what's your question? You want some?
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I don't.
Your question is, why aren't we all having laughing gas at night?
I'm saying is this stuff is so great. Why is this not readily available to consumers?
It's probably hard to. I mean, you have to have like some big machine and like tubes?
I don't know.
And probably have to have a license to be a doctor or a PA or nurse.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
you know what? I have somebody who this would be a great question for one of our partners, and he's actually coming up next here on the Mom Game. Yes. He has all the answers. All the answers. You've heard us talk a lot about Cutting Edge Cryo. Emily pumps it up a lot on her socials with some really great video. My videos are just kind of spare. But the owner, Rick Walton, is joining us today for the rest of this show, and he's going to answer all of our questions. Cutting Edge Cryo is doing some wonderful things that can help all moms, and we are so happy to have him on here now.
And we are back here on the Mom Game with a very special guest. It is Rick Walton of Cutting Edge Cryo, and if you've watched this podcast, listened to this podcast at all, you've heard us talk about Cutting Edge Cryo, the cryo slimming, all the stuff we've been doing. You've seen it on our social media. So we wanted to have Rick in to answer some questions that we get that I don't really know how to answer, and just learn a little bit more about this and why we're so into it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on.
For sure.
It's been a long time coming. I know we've been talking about this for a while.
We have, and we've been coming to visit you at Cutting Edge Cryo for, I don't know, 6 months, more?
Yeah, it's
something like that. And so we want to get into the details of what your company is, what you guys do, some of the things that you feature. But first, I know the whole cryotherapy thing, it feels like it's really been coming along the past couple of years and been getting really popular. So my first question for you, because you're the owner of Cutting Edge Cryo, correct?
Yes.
So how did you, I guess, decide to take the jump into starting your own business in something like this? Because it's always a risk, and it seems like things are going well now.
Yeah, no, I'm very blessed. Let me just start there. And I think it just started from chasing wonderful things in my life. I was very passionate in my early 20s to help people. I've been an advocate of the spine for a long time. So part of my original journey, how I got into this was I was a medical device rep in orthopedic and spinal device surgeries. So when you see people get cut open and their lives are on that table, I saw a lot of things intraoperatively that just made me feel like, man, why are you here?
Right.
Did you need to come this far? And just seeing those eyes before they went under and seeing the decisions that were made by our healthcare professionals, it just really struck me as maybe we should do things a little bit differently. Maybe we don't just go to the doctor when you get a cough. Maybe we can do some infrared heat therapy or some things that are more natural to the body. So I use my father's story often. I call him a victim of back surgery twice in the past 18 years now. We started doing cryotherapy together maybe 2 weeks removed from his second major back surgery where he had a fusion case. And what we did, we gave it a shot. We gave it a real 1 week. We're going to go in there, freeze up our bodies, which is the whole body cryo, which you've seen. Y'all are doing more of the slimmings and tonings, which we'll touch on. But when we did this regenerative and rejuvenating type of therapy, he felt amazing. I mean, his back had loosened up, even though he had rods and screws infused. He just didn't feel the same type of pain, and he felt limited on his medication. He didn't have to take as much as he usually does to subdue pain. So once you sustain an injury, the problem is coming off the medication is so difficult sometimes. And what do? I mean, you take the trust of these advisors and medical professionals, but I tell everyone the same thing. Whether they graduate at 99.9 or a 70.1, they're still doctors, they're still surgeons. So the best ones we come across are the ones that are advocating for, if I don't know something, I'm going to figure it out. Life changes, things change so quickly. Yeah. So that's kind of where my passion started, is my father and getting into it. And when I got out of the spinal device industry, out of the OR, it was a beatdown for 6 years. I had no life, 12, 14-hour days. It was great money. They pay you great. But I mean, the hospital is one of the most depressing environments I've ever been in. So I tried to say, you know what, let me go completely against the grain and try to find the most energetic environment. So you both can attest to the energy you feel coming out of the store. So that's how we started. Here we are almost 4 full years into the business model. Built the store out, only investor. We had a lot of troubling times. I'll tell people when it comes to owning a business, Just think about how hard that is and then multiply that by 5. And because now you're an accountant, you're a finance person, you're HR, you're customer service, you're the salesperson. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I love it. I love the people around me, and we've just been having a lot of fun, and we're blessed to have people like you come in and try us out.
Yeah, that's an awesome story.
What are this? So we'll get into our specific services. Yeah. What all do you provide?
Yeah, so we try to break it up into 2 segments of a wellness side, and then we have a beauty side. So just because we want to take care of our skin and not be overweight doesn't mean that should be vain. We want to take care of the body in a lot of natural ways. So our foundational pieces on the wellness side come from the whole body cryotherapy. That's our freeze therapy, the infrared sauna, which is a little bit different than the gym saunas when you're using infrared waves and heat. That's our heat therapy. We use the Normatec compression as our squeeze therapy. And then we create our fun modalities from that. We do freeze and squeeze. We do fire and ice. We do the Tony Robbins cocktail where you come freeze, squeeze, and then we thaw you out in the sauna. Those are our basic treatments that we do on the wellness side. But what we do is our why behind those is when you put your body in the extreme state of cold or heat, the body has to respond. It doesn't have a choice. But do we want to do that to ourselves? No, our brain's like, why am I doing this? The body doesn't want it, but you have to overcome that. And when you can subject yourself to something of that nature, even for 3 minutes, people ask about the cryo all the time. What is this really doing for me? We're very privy to ice baths and how it removes inflammation. And we're being told when you get an injury, get ice on it. They still use that all the time. You see the guys in the...
there's cryo machines in probably every professional sports locker room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it heals the body much faster because what you're actually doing to the body, and this is what people love hearing, is the science is the blood, right? The blood is going to circulate to the core much faster. And we've all been on those long runs before. It may have been sometime for some of us versus some others, but we've had that second wind kick in. And that second wind is your reserve tank that dumps all this nutrients, proteins, and oxygen into the bloodstream. So you're doing that and activating that, unleashing that reserve tank every time you do a whole body cryo into the bloodstream in just 3 minutes. So people love that, along with the infrared sauna, that cold and heat application on the body. The main reason people use it is stress relief. They're definitely recovering from workouts, but it's more about life recovery right now. We see it's a mental state. People coming in, they feel more relaxed, calm. We have a lot of, go figure, women between 30 and 50 coming in for anxiety relief. So we see these therapies used for so many reasons. And it's not just for what we Americanize it for working out, lifting weights. CrossFit was booming back in the late 2000s. People started to adapt to the cryo because if you're swinging hammers and tires around, well, how do you get up the next day? Freeze your body and you'll be good to go. So it was brought in originally for rheumatoid arthritis. That's the number one reason we see people is for pain management.
That's so interesting. The anxiety thing I think is interesting. What is the main thing that somebody who might be struggling with anxiety could do at your business? Is it getting into the cold chamber or is there something else?
Absolutely. I joke around with this often about how it creates anxiety before you can relieve the anxiety. The mind is a very powerful thing. We've learned that the body can withstand anything. It's the mind you have to convince. If you can challenge yourself mentally to withstand a negative 180 degree environment that is a gaseous form, so you're not feeling it like you're jumping into the bath or even the lake right now. If you can sustain that, your body, you feel this immediate influx extremely right after. So from the anxiety part, you're causing this body to stress at such a high level in that moment that it just has to have this balance out and relaxation right after. It's like going on a long run in the moment. It feels like death, but then when you shower,
that's why Emily does it.
Relax. It's stress relief
for sure.
It's almost like you have to stretch your body more first off, and then it gets to relax
and it's just
after.
More calm.
Yeah. It makes sense.
It's very, very
okay.
helpful.
So the health benefits galore, obviously, and we've done the Cryo Slim, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yes.
And every time I post on my social media that I'm doing it or whatever, there's so many questions like, what does it do? What is it? How does it work? And I'm like, it freezes your fat cells. Like I really don't know what else to say other than that.
That's okay. I mean, you're doing a great job. It does freeze your fat cells. We get compared to cool sculpting and all these little innovative things out there. Look, this stuff is coming from Europe and France. This is the beauty capital of the world. So we get a lot of flow over after it's been experienced already. So when you're doing the slimmings and tonings, from a cellular level, people want to know what's really going on. And I love using these words. One of my favorite words is called apoptosis. That's the self-death of a cell. So when you're doing your slimming, you notice that the wand has a red mark on it, and you kind of heat that application up with that gel that we put on. And that gel acts as a barrier so we can make sure that the skin stays comfortable and not damage the skin. So that's why you're out the door and there's no downtime. You can go back to your normal routine. All we ask is please don't fill that body up with any sugars or carbs 2 hours before and after the treatment. So when you put yourself in a fasting mode, the fat cells tend to rise and get loose. And we know that with heat, the cellular cells, they expand. So we want them to expand to get to that surface layer. So when the cold treatment finally hits, we're literally blowing that fat cell up inside the body. That's why we can't have you come in more than once every 2 weeks, because the body is trying to take the fat cells that just got destroyed, that gets turned into waste. So we talk about these fancy terms and these medical terms, lymphatic drainage, very important. People don't know what that is. So when you increase waste in your body, whether it's taking the wrong foods and going to Taco Bell every night, or whether it's medications, you slow the body's lymphatic drainage process down. So when we do this slimming, we're destroying the fat cells. That's why we want you to come back in and do one of our fun Sculpt Pod sessions or do an infrared sauna session, because it flushes out all the waste at a very high level. And then you're good to go. Come back in 2 weeks later.
Okay. So maybe a little bit of a tougher question, but just listening to you talk, you've said a couple of like buzzwords, if you will, that.
Sure.
So I'm a cancer survivor.
That's amazing.
I'm going to have another surgery next week, and we talked about it earlier on the show.
And I had no idea.
Yeah. And one of the things they told me to look out for is lymphedema.
Yeah.
And the lymphatic drainage and just the way once you have, because I had lymph nodes removed.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't function normally under, like it's all right here under this arm. So that I'm wondering if your services are helpful for people who have either had this type of surgery or are looking out for lymphedema or have any type of surgery.
Absolutely.
And then also my mother-in-law had rheumatoid arthritis. And so that was a big player in her life. She's since passed away from breast cancer, but it's just so interesting. I guess the overall question is like, do you feel like this is, for lack of better terms, cutting edge in like healthcare?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We didn't choose the name because it sounded cool. We did it because we're on the forefront of something here.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And we're not the first to do this in the United States. We are one of the best to do it, because we have sound minds who understand the scientific data that has been put out there. People want to see that this has actually been done before and seeing the results. But we do have those studies when it comes to rheumatoid arthritis and anxiety and pain management. So for your case in particular, we do have a lot of new bodies coming in that say, listen, I just don't feel comfortable killing myself with medication. It's never the cancer that kills you. It's always the treatments that you're doing that kill you before the cancer actually kills you when it comes to it. So we have people come in, and we're very soft on our approach when it comes to dealing with cancerous environments or people going through surgical treatments. I try to give people the confidence that what we're doing is something that you already have to your disposal already: heat, cold, and compression. And you realize when you go to the hospital system, you're like, man, they gave me some sleeves. They gave me an ice pack for my back of my surgery. You'll see them use a lot of these same modalities, but they're just not doing it the modernized way. So when someone comes in that has, any type of illness or condition, whether it's a spine condition or a heart condition, we want to make sure that you're able to do the service. And the most concerning one is the whole body cryo, because your beats per minute spike in an environment like that. So we're really concerned about heart considerations. But when it comes to post-surgical treatments or even pre-surgical treatments,
just getting your body ready or recovering.
Yeah. Look at it like this. I mean, when you go on a marathon run, you're not going to say, yep, I'm just going to drink a 6-pack of beer the night before, and I'm going to eat that barbecue, and I'll be ready to go tomorrow. No, you have to prep yourself, right?
Prepping.
So when you get cut open and you get a surgery done, don't you want to be in the best position to be able to have that surgery and come out of that surgery successful? To me, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Okay. So what, you told us a lot about what you've got. I know that there are there new things?
Yeah, we've got some new things always coming in. The one thing we pride ourselves on is we are on the cutting edge of technology when it comes to any type of therapy that's out there. So 2 things that we just did is we just launched our IV hydration. I have a wonderful RN that is, I call one of the best RNs in the world, because she came from Parkland. And if you've been an RN at Parkland, I think everything seems to be easier in life after you come out of that building.
Yeah, you've seen it all. Yeah.
So we've seen very volatile situations. We've seen lives lost. It changes you as a person when you're in those environments. So now in this more energetic environment, we're seeing a lot of people take a natural approach. We call it the holistic approach to life. We say that there's a great way to blend medicine into your life, but when we have IV hydration, it's basically like getting an IV drip. We do have the B12 shots, we have B complex shots. Some people just don't realize that, go get some blood work done and then see what you're deficient in. Because when you make a dietary change or you cut out meat out of your diet, maybe you're magnesium deficient. Maybe you're just lacking on a couple things that are so important to the way you're feeling.
Right.
But if you don't know, you take all the doctor's advice and then you're taking medication when it could just be one little thing. So we're trying to open up eyes to the IV hydration side of how you can take care of your body more naturally.
Right.
And then one of the other fun tools and things that we have coming is our new Balancer Pro. The Balancer Pro is the only FDA approved device in our country right now. It has 24 chambers of squeeze therapy. We've sold a few of these to some of the Dallas Cowboys athletes, but they're blowing up in like LA and New York right now, which I'll love for y'all to try because we just got them. It's a full body suit that you squeeze up to your chest, essentially.
And it's your hazmat suit you always talk about.
It's your hazmat suit, right? But when you come out of it,
hazmat suit.
Yes, and when you come out of it after an hour, you just feel so much more loose. The blood's flowing, but more importantly, it increases that lymphatic drainage. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy, but y'all would know better than I do. But I remember going in my history books and seeing the corsets worn back in the late 18, maybe they were onto something when you squeezed a waist so long, right? I mean, we're not trying to deform your back or your body, but man, if we kept something squeezed together,
they always had a tiny waist. Wear a corset. No, I'll do this for an hour. This squeezy hazmat suit, but that's about it.
That's why we have the slimming.
Now we have Spanx.
Yeah, exactly. True.
So I look at the Lululemon as the new modernized modern day corset, but
they're the best.
All jokes aside, we tend to kind of go back in history and see that ice has been around a long time, so is heat. So when we use these different modalities in a holistic manner, we can do it to help your health most importantly, but we can also do it in a way if you want to just look good and feel better. There shouldn't be, we call it the Frotox with the facial, right? We have the anti-aging facial. We use the cold plate, the coupler. That's going to help remove a lot of the crow's feet, the smile lines, all those things that we want to look beautiful. And in layman's terms, anything we want to preserve in life, what do? We freeze it. So same thing with the body, the skin. You get a lot of benefits when it comes to that.
Well, I know I always feel tighter, toner, just slimmer whenever after my sessions. And
I became obsessed with those facials.
They're awesome.
I tell people all the time, I tell my girl all the time that I never thought I would be where I am when it comes to these kind of devices of talking about little problem areas, right? That we talk about. So, but the reason why is it means a lot to people.
Yeah.
It means a lot to not get cut into, to not, I'm not against Botox. I just want people to know that there's some other alternatives out there before you do that. I think really now more than ever that we have in 2021 is we have a phone that we can look up anything.
Yeah.
So we're in the age of information, and all I'm trying to get people to do is try to go outside your comfort zone this year. Try to go against the grain a little bit and say, you know what? Let me try something new that maybe I'm not comfortable doing, but I know it's good for me, and I'll try to do it because it's good for me instead of me wanting to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question. I don't know how anyone could have listened to all of this and not be convinced.
Right.
So say that somebody's listening right now. I know at one point you were doing the Mom Game listener discount. Is that still a thing? What do they need to do?
Yeah, so anybody that's listening to the Mom podcast, the Mom Game podcast, you still have your 50% off first time. We'll give you 15% off a package. But because I'm in the studio today, if you can hear me, I'll know you're listening. Go ahead and message our Instagram at Cutting Edge Cryo, and you'll get a free treatment of your choice today.
Wow.
All right? So forget about the 50% off. We'll know you're a supporter. Just say, hey, look, heard you on the podcast. Want to be able to book my free treatment.
Listen to that, people.
Whether it's wellness, when you want to try to hop in the Sculpt Pod and get futuristic with that one. If you want to try a slimming, want to try a facial that you ladies have been doing, just send us a message and we will get back to you, and we'll make sure that you come in and try these wonderful things out for free.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
From there, you can go from there.
That's so kind of you. And I know, so happy about this partnership, and hopefully we can continue it. We can come out there, maybe do a show from there. Maybe we can
that would be
have listeners out there as well.
That would be lovely.
Yeah. We appreciate you so much for being
great.
So much
Thank
fun.
you so
now
much
you get all the questions that I get are now they're answered.
There we go.
So go listen to this episode of the podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll just tag them. Say, go here.
There you go.
Okay, before we leave, we end every show with Mom Game out, and we throw up the peace sign. So look into the camera.
Peace
all
out.
At once.
Peace out. Cryo, peace out.
Cryo, peace out. Mom Game out.
Mom game
Freeze
out.
out.
Freeze out. Peace out. There we go.